All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this session. I am in my favorite place at TechEd together with these amazing female influencers, and I'm really looking forward to discussing and digesting the content of day 2, because as every day there is so much to see and do that it's not possible for any one person to experience everything. So what better way to close out the day than with people who have all been in different places, who are representing different areas of expertise. So I'd like to ask everyone to just quickly introduce themselves. I'll start. My name is Malin Lidén. I'm Vice President of Marketing at SAP. And I will hand over to our special guest actually today, who is Monica. We're very honored to have you on the panel.
Thank you. So my name is Monika Niederhoff. I'm heading the German development organization for SAP Cloud Platform Core.
Hello, my name is Lucia Subatin. I'm a developer advocate for SAP HANA and the Global Developer Relations team. Thank you for having me here, by the way.
Hi, I'm Meredith Hassett, and I am the product manager for the developer experience at developers.sap.com, also on the developer relations team.
Hi, my name is Jana Oestringer. I'm a senior support engineer at SAP Digital Business Services in Germany, helping our customers worldwide to improve their running SAP processes.
Hi, my name is Karin Tillotson. I'm an SAP mentor, and I specialize in archiving and information lifecycle management.
And my name is Anne-Catherine Petro. I'm a developer and also an SAP mentor based in Denmark.
Fantastic. So the first question is, as always, what was your favorite part of the day? What did you experience today that really impressed you? I guess for me it was and I would recommend everyone to try it. I tried out the SAP Runs SAP virtual reality thing, and it was really exciting. It needed some getting used to, and I actually really honestly thought I was going to fall off the roof. So I'm happy to be here alive and well to be able to do this panel. What was your favorite moment of today?
So today I actually participated in a lot of meetup sessions, and that was really great to see how the customers, the partners and the SAP colleagues all engaged in really lively discussions. And one topic that kept repeating itself, I think throughout 3 meetup sessions, was that mind shift change within our customers from IT just being IT to IT becoming a real value provider to the business, and therefore setting the companies at a competitive advantage if done right. So that was really exciting to see.
I have kind of a 2-part session because it continued on today. So last night at the networking reception, a gentleman came up to me, recognized that I was part of this panel, and he wanted to talk to me about women in technology and how what he needed to think about in order to interact with women that he worked with at work. And so we kind of started down this path of, first I was like really, really grateful to have this conversation, and he shared with me an example of how he had been communicating with this via email with somebody that he assumed was a man. And when he went to the event, he went up to the man. There was a man and woman standing at the front, and it was the woman that had been the organizer. So he's like, what can I do? And I went, well, we brought up the topic about unconscious bias. So we had a really good discussion on that. And then this morning, he saw me again, and he goes, what was that you told me about? And I went, unconscious bias. So it was good that he was thinking that, and it was just a very, really good, positive conversation that we had.
So I had one of those days where I had a plan and nothing went according to that plan. So I had one of those wonderful bumping around TechEd day with lots of wonderful conversations and serendipity. I ended up in none of the sessions I had planned. But I love those days where you can sort of mix the serendipity and doing the things you hadn't planned to do, and sometimes doing things, it was a little bit like you mentioned yesterday, that you end up in sessions that will inspire you in different ways and not always think what do I think would be best for this project that comes in 6 months, but just, yeah, that inspiration, just be inspired sometimes from different angles. Yeah.
having a little pass the microphone problem. So I think my favorite part of the day is just like the ability to engage with people. So as I mentioned, I'm the product manager for the developer experience at SAP, and getting to see people in the app space actually working with our product and getting better feedback about how they want to engage with SAP and learn about the developers experience and developer products from SAP is wonderful, as well as getting to meet with my colleagues and just kind of take walks or meet new people and really get to learn and grow in the SAP community here at TechEd.
I had a lot of favorite parts today, but I think the conversations around how we are embracing the cloud and how we're embracing open platforms. We spoke a lot about Cloud Foundry and Kubernetes after my session in HANA as a Service today. I did 2 of those. And luckily, I had a lot of attendees. Sometimes there's a little bit of fear that people will not be interested. So I prepared the material with a lot of love, and that showed apparently, and it worked out well. And that made me see how a lot of the tools that I use on my day-to-day tasks that are actually cloud-based are not as natural for everybody. So it was really interesting to have these conversations in which I would share how moving on to the cloud is better, and how I moved from being an developer to a cloud-native developer with HANA, right?
Yeah, actually I had today several customer meetings. That's also why I'm here, actually, to meet our customers. And it was, for me, it's always very, it was very positive to see how our development, our cloud platform resonates, the things that we provide resonates with the customers. So the integration possibilities, the business services, our programming model, that the guys have been working on, that this really resonates. But of course also the shortcomings that we have and where we need to improve, that's always very important input, of course, we gain here.
Absolutely, great. So yesterday we talked a little bit about automation and robotics as a way to shift our focus from the repetitive tasks that we may not be too excited about, to focus more on the things that excite us about technology, because there are so many great things that we can do with technology. Those of you who listen to our panel in Las Vegas know that one of my favorites is the Rainforest Connection. It's a really amazing story. If you don't know it, please look it up. And before we were talking to the panelists before the session, and we were talking about this virtual reality glasses that I had. Someone said, "Oh, you can now use this for to get over your fear for spiders." Can you imagine the virtual reality glasses with spiders? I am not excited about that possibility of technology, but I think this is the inspiration at these events. It gets us thinking, what can we do with technology? So I wanted to ask all of you, what gets you excited? What do you see in the future that where we can use technology for good?
Yeah, I can start. So you've probably all seen yesterday's keynote, right? And while Björn was speaking, what he was saying was written in text underneath in the screens in the presentation. So that I found really amazing, and it was basically flawless. And that's not only happening from speaking English to text in English, that also already works in different languages. So I have a lot of international friends, and when they come to see me and visit my family, not everybody in my family speaks English. So when I think about the future, where we can still have real conversations that are translated on the fly, I find that really amazing.
Yeah, so, for me it's always different levels that I'm excited about. It can be, of course, technology itself, because I have a technology background, so if I just think about the potential of quantum computing, I'm getting very excited. But of course, much more interesting is really what you can do with it. And here, for me, for example, the possibilities in medicine, how this will change also, at least it will change our life, but for our children, maybe completely change their lifespan completely. So that's really incredible. But then I think the much more the things I'm thinking about is then what are the things that really will change society completely. And I think here we will see still in our lifespan a lot of changes, because the innovation is moving so fast that you cannot even follow. And I think that is something that really gets me thinking and really excited.
And to build on that, when you talked about medicine, the new Apple Watch that has all that new technology that can be used to what has better technology about like monitoring your heart rate and possibly indicating there might be a problem and I better go to the doctor. And so that I think is really fascinating.
Something I think is really exciting about technology too is its ability to start bridging gaps as well and start bridging communities and giving people who traditionally didn't have access to maybe some of the advancements we have here in the Western world in providing access to internet and data and information systems, and technology is starting to progress more and more to bridging all these different communities together and starting to bring us together as a whole across the world. And I think that's a really exciting opportunity that really we can explore so much deeper with technology as we move forward.
I can also just add that there's sort of different aspects to that as well, that what we can give. I know that United Nations, for instance, are doing a lot of projects in Africa, and they also require people that do things like service design or design thinking, which I think is really interesting, that they don't only look at the technology, but also what we can sort of give in terms of skills. That I like that aspect of it. I was working with a colleague who was once in Africa for 6 months and participated in a project as a service designer. So it's
Yeah, I guess the limitation is only our own imagination. I was listening to another session today where they were talking about blockchain as a way to increase safety in the production of food chain production, and that's just one example. There was also a pharmaceutical example. So anywhere where you rely on transparency, these are options for technology to really make a difference and have an impact that is real for people. So.
I just want to add also a lighter note on just more the entertaining side. So what I'm still waiting for, and I think it will come soon, is in the fiction space, be it books or movies, that they become adaptive and interactive and react to to my environment, my context, and that is what I think it cannot be far away. I think it's just that the authors have not yet grasped the potential, and I'm waiting for that. In the next 5 years, I hope we can see that.
Fantastic. And I'm going to turn right back to you, because obviously we have heard so much about SAP Cloud Platform as the foundation for an intelligent enterprise. And I saw in our presentation today that we have about 10,000, 12,000 customers, which is fantastic. But our ecosystem is much larger. So I'm wondering, does this mean that there is a real opportunity for early movers to get a competitive advantage? And if yes, what do customers need to do to take advantage of it?
So definitely it's a yes, of course. There is a competitive advantage, and I think although there are already many customers, I think it's still we are at the beginning of the journey only. Yeah? And I think if I just think as the foundation for the intelligent enterprise, I think there is a lot of potential to really bring intelligence into the business processes. And I think if you look at the pace of innovation nowadays, I think every year will open new opportunities how to bring additional intelligence into the system. Therefore, I think you will always be an early mover whenever you adopt the latest technology, and I think the potential, we have not even started to really get to that. So if I look especially what has been moving in the last 1-2 years in artificial intelligence, I think there is the potential is huge, and I think that is where I would look how to bring this into the business processes and use the capabilities, of course, that we have in our platform.
And also I'd like to add to that, I think being an early adopter of the SAP Cloud Platform is also going to make you faster in delivering your applications that are smarter and better and more well connected and more integrated with your different systems. So if you're looking at extension scenarios, if you're looking at integrating with third parties, on-premise systems, other data sources that you might be having, utilizing the cloud platform is really going to simplify that for you and make that experience for you as a developer or for you as a business a lot easier to maintain and keep track of, especially moving forward as your data grows and you start having more connections that you need to build out. So even if maybe you're not quite an early adopter, there's still advantages to utilizing the cloud platform, whether it's today or in a year from now.
Well, you kind of took the idea out of my mouth, but also because I was thinking of developers, right? Embracing cloud native development means that you need to be more agile. It means that you deliver faster, and that also means that your customers, whatever your customers are in terms of end users, will have their requirements fulfilled faster. You also have better control of what you're doing. I think that also that requires a little change in our mindsets, in our customers and in our own mindsets on how we are developing software. But that also brings an advantage because it makes you more versatile and it gives you a better idea of what you need to do and also what you need to clean up if you have a large baggage, as we were saying yesterday, right? It's a nice opportunity to look at what you have, check the landscape, check the code, check the data, clean up and move into a cleaner state.
That's great. So you're already leading into the next question because I wanted to touch on that change that we're going through as an ecosystem. Change is always hard. So let's talk for a moment about what we're doing as an ecosystem to help our customers with this change. And I'm going to start with Anne because she said before we're not doing enough. So what should we be doing more of?
Basically, my line was more partner enablement. I work for a partner, so I just wish there was a bit more partner enablement. Like SAP could work closer with our partners because helping the partners would also be helping the customers.
Yep. And cleaning up the data is such a big job, especially for big customers that have been live for many, many years, and so more than likely they will need assistance.
I think we talked about this topic quite extensively yesterday, right? So a lot of customers are afraid of getting started with the cleaning up, but I think actually getting the job done and just starting, and I mean, there are partners, there is SAP who can provide support that does put the customers at a competitive advantage. Like when we think about the front runners, the companies that have been successful lately, these aren't the ones that wait and let everybody else start. These are the front runners, so.
I'm gonna take this one because I think I will steal your idea. Because one of the things that we're doing is helping with the training piece at developers.sap.com. I author tutorials, that's why I was talking about that. And those are for free, and we also have a lot of trials. And sometimes people are not aware that they can actually try the new stuff for free and learn the latest and the greatest from an official source. So I just wanted to point that out as a help. And of course, being here and listening to people and seeing how they are using those tutorials and that materials also helps us find out what we need to do better, right?
And kind of playing along with the lines of free, if you want to figure out how to work with this, SAP is also very much adopting the API first mentality. So a lot of these new things, if you're trying to figure out how does this all work in my system, should I even look at purchasing this, we have APIs that are free for you guys to use as well, also from an official SAP source, api.sap.com if you haven't looked at the SAP API Business Hub yet. So you can start playing around with these and starting to get that information and start gathering your network and gathering your community so that you're ready to hit the ground running when it comes time to make that change.
Great. And I've always worked for large SAP customers, and one thing that, we're not used to getting things free from SAP.
We're
so
trying
we might
to change
not know
that. Yes, things are free now. We're trying to make that free.
How about that for good news? It's for free. Great. So I also wanted to build on a session that I gave yesterday around building and managing your online brand to become, more influential in your ecosystem. And obviously, you are all influencers. So I thought it would be interesting to just hear from each of you your top tip for not only building but also managing your brand in a professional environment. So who has a tip to share?
Not sure whether I'm really good at it, but at least I have some tips. Good. I think what's important is to think about the key message or your key assets, maybe the top 2 or maximum 3 things that you want to stand for that is your strength definitely. And then think about how you can message, what messages you can provide. And then really deliver this authentically, be authentic, be consistent on these messages. It needs to be something you really believe in. And then, of course, think about the opportunities, whatever, online, but also not just online, but also in conferences or maybe in any talk you have. Be consistent on these messages, and then look for the opportunity where to position these. I think that is the key for us to think about what you want to stand for and have this consistently.
Focus is really important. I just want to build on what you said. If you want to be known for everything, you will be known for nothing. So it's really important to focus.
That's exactly what I was just about to say, quoting you from yesterday, because that's actually something Malin said in her talk yesterday, and it's something that stuck with me in a way. And I think the question I also asked myself then was, what do I want to be known for? And I think that's where you should start and then continue from there.
So I usually work with find what you're passionate about, and then sharing is caring.
Yeah, the sharing is caring line got a lot of Twitter activity yesterday.
I think my top tip is just be your authentic self. I think anyone who reads my tweets, reads my blogs, meets me in person, kind of has the same expectation every single time, and I believe I deliver pretty consistently. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, that I'm not being consistent. But just like be your authentic self, and people will really appreciate that you are who you are.
I was going to say the exact same thing, because I'm the one who's always been kind of informal, and my writing is also informal. Of course, I can write a formal stuff if I want, but I'm myself in all of my deliveries, unless I'm writing formal documentation, which we're required to write in a different tone. And somebody actually told me, you really sound like you write. And one thing I do take care of is I will only write about what I know. So I will not go into new topics, because I'm a perfectionist and I want what I deliver needs to be as good as it can be. And for that, I need to know what I'm talking about, right? So as you say, not trying to cover everything, but my topic is HANA. You will hear about HANA from me and maybe some other stuff, but only if I'm really sure what I'm talking about. So confidence to me is actually key.
That's great. And I think you covered a lot of great tips, and maybe just as a final one for me, have fun with it. I fundamentally believe that we are better at the things that we enjoy. And the good thing about building your brand and being active on social, it comes in so many flavors. Sometimes people think I have to be a blogger, or I have to be this, or I have to be that. I have to give presentations. I don't like to give presentations. There are so many ways to build influence. Find one that you enjoy. Push yourself a little bit outside of the comfort zone, but not too much. But enjoy it, because then the results are just better. So finally, we have 1 day left of TechEd. So we also want to cover our recommendations. What should people not miss? What can they not leave the conference without having done or seen? And I'm going to make a plug for a showcase in that corner of the show floor. It's around esports, and I was amazed, because for me, esports was something, this is gaming, and I thought gamers were kids, after they finish their homework, they're doing some gaming. It's a big business. The guys there were telling me that in the World Championship that is going on right now, I think the prize for the World Champion is $25 million. So this is big business, which also means there's an opportunity for technology companies, and the showcase is brilliant. You can analyze the games, you can see where you went wrong, if you lost a hero, or if you lost a tower, or whatever happened, whatever went wrong, you can analyze it and draw conclusions for your future games to improve. So I recommend taking a look at that. Yeah, for me it was a new world, and it was interesting to experience. So what's your tip? What people should not leave without having seen or done?
Straightforward party night tonight. So we talked a lot about networking, and we talked a lot about having fun. So probably all of your days have been full on listening to talks, having really important discussions about your work, but then I think there's also that really important aspect of just chatting, enjoying yourself, and have fun while doing it.
Just to take advantage of what face-to-face events can bring you. I am a true believer in networking. That's the biggest thing for me to come to an event is just meet people, talk to people about, it doesn't even have to be about SAP necessarily, but just network.
So I want to make a plug for the usability testing, since I also work as a UXer. So if you want to also influence how SAP products are, there downstairs there's a usability testing lab where you can go and give your direct input on SAP products.
Yeah, so of course I fully buy into the networking topics and come to the booths, of the people. I think that is really important. Just to narrow it down to one specific session from my platform, I would say what's important is the topic on how to use a cloud platform, which programming language. So there's another session tomorrow on that, and I would just also recommend that.
I will do a plug for the developer garage here, not only because I think we're doing a good job and that's the feedback that we're getting, but also because some people tomorrow will need kind of a break and will need to be able to sit down with a cup of coffee and go at their own pace, and you have a lot of topics here. You have the partner booths, we have ABAP in the cloud, which is a very hot topic, the cloud SDK for S/4HANA, Android, iOS. There's a lot of hot topics there, and I know that some people will be showing up tomorrow with not as much energy from the party, and will need a place to sit and go at their own speed.
So I would say that we talked about some brand building and becoming an influencer, and one of the ways you can do that is by getting your face out there. So we actually have a professional profile pictures being taken in the community lounge. So if you come by also in the developer garage, if you want to get your picture taken so that you can get your face out there in the community, because that is a big thing, is letting people be able to see you and becoming visible in the community, and that is a great first step to becoming an influencer as well.
So with that, I'd like to close the panel, and I always do that by thanking all of you for being female influencers in our ecosystem, and I'd like to thank all of you for your interest in the viewpoint and the opinion of female influencers. We are also streaming these sessions and sharing them online, because the purpose of this is also to show the quality. We are hoping that a lot of women in our ecosystem can see who we have in terms of role models, and just, sometimes it feels like we get lost a little bit in the mix, but I'm encouraged every time I do this to see the interest in diversity, not just from women, but also from some really, really fantastic allies that we have. I see a couple of mentors here. Some of our top executives are huge supporters of diversity. So it gives me great hope every time I am able to host this panel of female influencers. So thank you for being role models. Thank you for your interest. And join us again tomorrow. That's the last tip for tomorrow at 1:15, same place. Thank you so much.